first video in our 12 Days of Terror countdown. Now, this video kind of goes with the video that I posted about on YouTube yesterday, but if you have not had a chance to watch that yet, it's totally okay. So, I just thought, as I was researching the haunting of the Cecil Hotel, I found this article, and it was so creepy, and I thought this would be a perfect way to start off our 12-day countdown. But also, I just really wanted to tell you guys about this theory. So, basically, if you didn't watch the video, the Cecil Hotel is this really old hotel in LA, and it's had a lot of violent deaths and creepy things happening in it to the people who are staying there. Several serial killers lived there while they were committing all of these murders. So there's a lot of creepy stuff going on, but maybe one of the creepiest things, and I think definitely the most famous, was the death of Elisa Lam. Now, her case ended up being classified as an accident, but police uncovered this extremely creepy elevator footage from the night she went missing and presumably died. And there are many theories as to what happened to her, and I talked about those over on YouTube, but today the theory we are going to talk about is paranormal. So, this theory says that Elisa was playing a game that's called the elevator game. The elevator game originated in Japan and South Korea, and basically it's believed that by doing these certain things, like certain steps in a certain order, you can enter another world or like another dimension and communicate with spirits. So while I was researching the Elisa Lam case, I came across this theory, and I found this article that literally made like the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So this article is from thoughtcatalog.com. The writer is anonymous, and it is titled, "I played the elevator game and I did it wrong. The woman followed me back." So for today's video, I'm going to read you this woman's account. First off, before I say anything else, I want to make it absolutely clear that under no circumstance should anyone ever play the elevator game to the other world. If you're curious about it, then please just stop. If you've tried it before and it didn't work, please, please, please don't ever try it again. I tried it, and now I'm pretty sure I'm fucked. Here's how it started. About a year ago, I was reading about the death of Elisa Lam and happened upon a couple of websites about the elevator game and a lot of conjecture that Elisa had been playing this game prior to her disappearance. For those not familiar with the case, she was later found dead in a water tank on top of the hotel where she was last spotted. Just prior, she'd been seen acting really strangely on one of the building's elevators. The CCTV of this is easily found if you're interested. But anyway, that's what got me mildly interested in playing the elevator game. I read the instructions for how to do it in a few different places. There are slightly different versions, I don't know why, and it creeped happened upon another article about it on this very website in May. It contained more information on the game than I'd seen in any one place before, and I became absolutely convinced the game was complete bullshit, being handed around on the web as a quick way to get reads of people interested in Elisa Lam's case. The community that's obsessed with her is relentless, like they are completely obsessed with her. I know, because my boyfriend is one of them, and that's how I came to considering playing the game myself. My boyfriend is sweet, he's kind, but he's also very into missing person stories and the idea of paranormal being a real thing. These are things I find mildly interesting every once in a while, but they're not always on my radar like they are for him. So one evening, he wouldn't stop with the spooky Elisa theories. I asked him if he would stop talking about it if I played the game and showed him it was fake. He agreed. The bet was made, and that's when I knew he thought it was a fake, too. If he thought it was real, then there is no way he would have wanted me to play the game, which just goes to show how much of a distracting fantasy being interested in this stuff is for most people. Like, who would agree to the proposition that their girlfriend would play a game that could possibly result in them being stuck in another dimension forever? No one. That's who. Anyway, so I took notes on the game to take with me and identified the building where I thought I wouldn't draw attention to myself in any way that might cause me to mess up the game's order and thus be ruled invalid by my true believer boyfriend. I won't say which building because I wasn't supposed to be there, and they likely don't want the attention, but it's in downtown Atlanta where I live. Now, if you're familiar with the game at all, you know there are concrete steps you have to take in perfect order to do it right. These steps are consistent across every version of the game I've read. The only things that aren't consistent are the consequences of doing the steps wrong and exactly what Otherworld is actually like. As a result, I was able to plan with confidence so there wouldn't be any question about doing it right or not. It took about 20 minutes before I was able to take an elevator alone. It was a new elevator. The building was fairly new, and there was absolutely nothing creepy about it. No music on the elevator, nothing. So I started the steps of the game, and here they are. Number 1, enter the elevator from the first floor by yourself. If anyone else gets on, then understand you cannot continue from the first floor and wait until the elevator can be taken alone. Press the button to the 4th floor. Do not get out when the elevator reaches the 4th floor. Stay in the elevator and press the button for the 2nd floor. Do not get out when you reach the 2nd floor. Stay on the elevator and press the button for the 6th floor. Do not get out when you reach the 6th floor. Remain in the elevator and press the button for the 2nd floor. Do not get out when you reach the 2nd floor. Stay on the elevator and press the button for the 10th floor. Some have reported hearing a voice calling to them on the 2nd floor during the middle section of the ritual. Do not reply. Do not answer in any way. Do not get out once you have reached the 10th floor. Stay on and press the button for the 5th floor. Everything was dull up to this point. I didn't hear anything, and at step 6, when I hit the button to take the elevator to the 10th floor, as I was looking at the lights above the doors telling me which floor I was on, and it startled me when the elevator suddenly stopped. By then, I was looking at the door and she was getting on. This was so stupid of me. It's so obvious that I should have been facing the corner where the elevator buttons are, not staring at the lights telling me which floor I was on the whole time. I thought immediately, okay, no biggie, this is bullshit anyways, but I have to tell you, I was extremely nervous, and as I hit the button for the first floor and the elevator started moving again, I made sure to look down at the floor. That's when she started talking. She was a tiny thing. I've seen that when she got on, and pretty. Her hair was a light blonde, and she had striking green eyes and freckles. She started talking about how there'd just been an accident on the 5th floor and asked if I would go back up to help. This was totally nonsensical. She'd just gotten on the elevator in hopes that someone might be on there and then go help. I didn't speak. It was too weird. No way was I going to speak to her. She said it again, and this time she sounded like she was getting angry. Again, I ignored her. But the third time was different. Hey, you fucking bitch, I'm talking to you. Holy shit. I can't tell you how scary that was. The hair on my arms was standing up, and I got that dizzy, confused feeling whenever something really and truly dangerous happens and you get that first hit of adrenaline. I'm sure I'd moved completely into the corner of the elevator at this point. I know I was staring at the elevator buttons and wondering what was taking so long to go just 5 short floors. We should have already hit the first floor, but we seemed to be stalled on the 3rd, even though I could still feel the elevator moving. The next thing I knew, she'd gone from calling me a bitch to kind of softly weeping. I would say that it sounded sad or even mournful, but the truth was that it didn't. It sounded despicable and pathetic. Remembering it now, the effect of her crying had on me. It didn't make me want to console her. The effect was that I suddenly found her disgusting. For no reason other than the sound of her crying, I suddenly found myself hating her, and she wouldn't stop crying. I could practically feel her body shuddering. She was crying so hard, and the wet sound of it seemed to fill the elevator, getting louder and louder, until I simply couldn't take it anymore. Hatred filled me, and turning around, I yelled, "Shut up!" and I grabbed her by her blonde hair and smashed her head into the elevator door over and over and over. I couldn't stop myself. Blood spattered across the seam in the elevator door, and still she kept weeping, the sound rising in pitch and shifting in pattern until it was no longer a cry, but more of a cackle. She was happy. Oh God, no, I thought. She's happy. This is what she wanted. And like that, I realized that I had not only looked at her when she came through the elevator door, but I acknowledged her. And worse than that, I had touched her, grabbed her hair, struck her. I'd given her what she wanted. And then, ding, went the elevator door. We had arrived on the 1st floor. Turning, the woman's face was no longer that of a pretty young girl, but was contorted in the face of pure pleasure, as if she had been relieved of a burden long carried, and she stepped off the elevator and into the lobby, blocking my exit. The door slammed closed, and the elevator began a rapid descent. I pressed every single button on the elevator elevator's console trying to stop it, but nothing responded. The buttons were dead. Faster and faster the elevator ascended until, with a loud creak and squeaking of the cables, it came to a complete stop. The floor indicator light read 10. The doors opened and nothing. There was just nothing. It was just the 10th floor of the building. On the right and left were offices with glass doors and windows. Inside, people answered phone calls or appeared to be in meetings. Just your basic stuff. I hit the elevator button for the first floor, and the elevator moved smoothly downward. At the lobby, I stepped out and walked quickly out of the building and onto the street. I don't know what in the hell I had just experienced, but I knew I wanted no part of it. I immediately called my boyfriend and told him what happened on the elevator, and he just laughed and said he didn't believe me. He compared what I told him to the things he'd read about Elisa Lam. He wouldn't listen to me at all, so caught up in his little spooky fantasy that all he could do was try to pick my story apart with the bullshit he'd read on the internet forums. He said what had happened to me was impossible and that I was making stuff up to try to win our bet. I hung up and shut off my phone. This is the part I need you to really listen to. This is the part that matters. The next morning, after going to sleep in my own bed, I opened my eyes and I was standing in the middle of an office building of some kind, fully dressed. The light was dim, and as I peered out the window, I saw what I can only describe as a dead city. A faint, dim light on the horizon illuminated everything with a crimson sheen that glimmered like a greasy film in the low light. There was no sound. I don't mean it was quiet. I mean the place was absent of sound. Ahead of me was an elevator, and the floor indicator read 10. I pushed the elevator button to call the elevator in such a panic that sweat seemed to instantly cover my body. The elevator arrived. The door opened. I got in, and it took me down to the lobby where the low red light was gone, the one I had seen the day before, and it was morning. This has happened every night and morning for the past 10 nights. During the day, when I'm out of my apartment, I see the blonde girl's face in every crowd, but she always disappears once I try to focus on her. On the 6th morning, I found myself in that building. The elevator quit working, and I took the stairs down to the lobby, and I've had to take the stairs to the lobby every night since, but they get longer and longer. Yesterday morning, after walking down at least 50 flights of steps, I opened the stairwell door at the floor I was on, and I was back at the 10th floor. It took what seemed like hours to finally get out after that. I am afraid that tonight I will be trapped. I can feel it in my bones that this is it. I will never be able to get out again. I've been trying to stay awake, but I never can, no matter how much caffeine I've had or what I'm doing. Even worse, I saw the pretty young girl with the blonde hair 2 nights ago on the stairwell. I didn't see her clearly, but more like out of the corner of my eye below me, I could hear light footsteps. She's there. She's in the building with me. She has something in store for me. I'm sure of it. So, that is the end of the article. I want to know you guys think. Do you guys think Elisa Lam was playing the elevator game? I find this entire story so incredibly creepy. So, anyways, let me know what you think. Do you think the elevator game is real? Do you think Elisa Lam was playing it?